Hello everyone, welcome to Tix.com where different courses are taught. My name is Fernanda and welcome to the HTML course. This HTML course basically will cover all the things you need to start building fully responsive website. It's going to provide you with all the knowledge you need. Now before we begin, there are a few things that you need to know. Firstly, this course is for beginners. It's for absolute beginners. And when I say beginners, I'm talking about someone that has little or no knowledge about HTML. Secondly, this course will contain different slides and examples in order for learning to be much easier. Not to make this course extremely boring, I've included quiz and drills that you'll be able to do so that this course will be much fun and interesting. And you'll be able to recall what you've learned before. And lastly, the most important thing is that you need patience. You may look at the lessons and exclaim, wow, this is kind of much. But you need to understand that learning takes a lot of time. Although the lessons are not going to be more than 15 minutes. I've actually seen videos online that says maybe learn HTML in 5 minutes, learn HTML in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or even 20 minutes. But that's really not what you want. That's not what you're looking for because that's just off and you don't want that. So please exercise patience. Now with all that talking, it's time to get into HTML itself. What is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it's basically the standard markup language for creating web pages. It's the standard one. All the web pages, all the websites that you see online are made with HTML. But not only HTML, you hear of CSS, you hear of JavaScript. Well, those are also part of what you use to make websites. But HTML is a basic thing. It's the most important thing because those other functions, that CSS and JavaScript, will not work without HTML. HTML is one that describes the structure of the web. It describes the structure of your website, and it is the building blocks of the web. Now, what I mean is that, HTML is what makes content to be displayed on your website. It's just about the content. It's the structure. It's not the layout, it's not the presentation, it's just the plain structure of your website or a web page. And I want you to note something. HTML is not a programming language. It's a markup language. People often mistake that and maybe sweep it or, make mistake and say HTML is a programming language. But no, it is not a programming language. It's a language on its own, used for only creating websites. It's not a programming language. Programming language has stuff like logics, like if and else statements, and arrays, variables, and other stuff like that. But HTML doesn't have that. It's really easy. Well, just because it's not a programming language and it's different from all other languages doesn't mean it's off and it's not worth learning it. But it's actually worth learning it. It's gonna help you in different things, and you'll be able to create you're gonna be able to create websites fully responsive. Now, there are basic tools that you need before you start coding HTML, writing some HTML code. And you need two basic tools that you need to start writing HTML code. The first one is a web browser, a good web browser. And I'm going to give you some examples like we have Internet Explorer, we have Google Chrome, which is the most popular. On that, we have Edge, Microsoft Edge. We also have Mozilla Firefox, we have Safari, and other web browsers that you have. They're actually okay to use for this course. And the second thing is the most important thing, and that is text editor. You need a text editor, which is called development environment. By the name, you understand that it's basically where you write your HTML code. The browser is where the the code will be displayed. Like HTML consists of elements, and the browser is going to read those elements, and those are the instructions for the browser to be able to display. You get? That's what the browser is going to display. Yeah. So some examples of text editors. I'm going to give you two basic ones, which I'm going to be using in this course. So there's one for Windows, there's one for Mac, which is on every Mac laptop and on every Windows laptop. On every Windows laptop, if you go and search for Notepad, you see it there, Notepad. And on every Mac laptop, you see text edit. So basically, you could use that to write HTML. It's just okay, a-okay. Some people talk about softwares like, big softwares for professionals. Well, not actually only for professionals, for you to write text editors, I mean. So big softwares, but the simple, the better. And that's why in this course, I'm actually going to be using Notepad because I'm using a Windows laptop. Even Mac use text edit is just the same thing. Simple and plain. I know that is very, very, very mind-blowing. That the two things I just mentioned, which is text editor and web browsers, here on all laptops. There's no laptop, no matter whatever the name is, that doesn't have a text editor and does not have a browser. That's mind-blowing that you could just start writing HTML right now, even without going to the internet to go and download one, anything or stuff like that. But for the text editors, you don't want to be using something like Microsoft Word. No, it won't work. Basically, no, it won't work. Like, I'm actually going to be showing you some text editors which are more complicated that you could actually use. Okay, so I'm here in my web browser, and I've actually picked some text editors which are compatible that you could actually use. There are many more, but I picked 5 which are actually basic and simple. First one is Visual Studio Code. You can see that in code at code.visualstudio.com. Now, this is the most popular, and this is the one I personally use. Yeah, Visual Studio Code. It's a very nice one. You can install extensions and stuff like that. Next one we have is Atom. You can see that at atom.io. It's also a very nice one. I've used it before, but it's not my main text editor. Now we have Brackets, which I've actually downloaded, but I've not really done anything in it. I've not even opened it, or actually I've downloaded it, but I've not installed it as a software on my computer. We have Sublime Text, which I've actually used before. It's nice, it's okay, it's compatible to use. Then the last one I have is Notepad++. Now you can see that at notepad++.org. Yeah, notepad++.org. It's also a simple one. It's also like Notepad on Windows, but if you actually want to go like those softwares, you pick either Visual Studio, Atom, Brackets, and Sublime Text. Any of them you can get. Well, I actually downloaded all of them, which I actually want to show. So I downloaded all of them, and all of them, they have the same processes to download. You can see this. This is Atom, this is Bracket, this is Visual Studio Code, and Sublime Text. So they're very nice. Welcome back, and I just finished installing all of them, and I'm going to show you all the text editors in a few seconds. This is Visual Studio Code. Very nice. This is Visual Studio Code. This is Atom that I talked about. This is Atom. This is Sublime Text also. Sublime Text. This is Brackets. All this code came with it, alright? This is Brackets. Then the basic ones. This is Notepad++. And lastly, which is one I'm going to be using for this course, is Notepad. This is on Windows, but you will see text edit on Mac.